right, today we are working on moving the forehand in the saddle. Now the forehand in the saddle is going to be button number 1. So you're actually going to move up here. You're trying to hit this pressure point, which is right in here. Now if you use your toe, that is going to be a whole lot easier. Now button number 1 also has a corresponding pressure point on the horse's neck. Now that means that right here is actually going to be a pressure point that's going to help the horse cross over in the front. Moving the forehand is an isolation of the forehand as opposed to the hindquarters. And what we're looking for is the opposite foot to cross over the other foot. So now let's talk about the rein cue. The rein cue, if you'll come on forward, we are using indirect rein. Now here's a little secret. If you use your hand and use your finger to actually push that button and release, that reinforces the indirect rein and helps start the neck reining process. This isn't something you would continue, but this is how you're going to addition of the cue. Now the opposite leg is going to open the door. We are going to use the fence because we are just going for one step. Now, here's the important part. If you can't do it on the ground, you're going to have a really hard time in the saddle. So go back and look at those videos, how far we've been working. He will now move his forehand using button number 1 on the ground. We're getting consistently, what, 6 steps? About 6, 7 steps. So he's getting most of the way. So now it's time to work in the saddle. Okay, so we're going to face the fence, and I'm going to be here to help her reinforce, and she's going to get that one crossover step and release. See how he's licking and chewing immediately? Okay, button number 1, cross, and release. Now back him up, back him up, back him up. Now ideally, we're going to use the fence to keep him from going forward. So that's going to help. We're just looking for a couple of steps. So we're going to go ahead and start with the step. Keep him. There you go. And big release. One step. Back him up. Don't let his head get over the fence. And button number 1, and good. Now ask for a second step. Ask for a second step. 2, good. And release. That is excellent. So we're actually getting that first step and release. This is just the first step, and this is the easiest way to do it. But what you do on one side, you have to do on the other. Now, remember, the cue is going to be up here, and she's going to try to push that button. There's a crossover step. Good. Now release. Now let's get 2 steps this time. Let's try to get a turn. There's 1, 2. That was good. That was good. Keep his nose the other direction. Yay, we almost got a side pass out of that. I want you to think more along the lines of keeping him from walking forward, okay? So, he moved his back in. Let's move his front. Ready? And front, 2, and 1 more step. Keep his nose. You got to kind of turn his nose the other way. You're getting a great side pass. That's awesome. Now let's focus on button number 1. Let's get his feet. Ready? Come on, 1 more step. Don't let him walk forward. That's why we're using the fence. Let's get the cue. And good. Release. There you go. That's the start. Eventually, we would like him to be able to do a 90 degrees. So today we got 2 steps. Tomorrow you get 3 steps, and then you get 4, and you're eventually able to do a 180 and then eventually a 360. And that's how you move the forehand and actually start that really pretty little Western spin. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on today's video. And if you enjoyed the video, give us a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And remember, to see more, check out our playlist.